Hello everybody, this is emmavoid, back once again with another episode of my Heaven Will Be Mine Let's Play. Last we left off, we did some stuff, some more quests, yeah. There was girls, there was flirting, you know, the usual. Saturn, I would love it, just love it. Yeah? If you messed everything up this time. Oh right, we already read this. I don't know why this was showing as unread. That's weird. But yeah, Mercury wants us to fuck things up because, Iapetus sucks. You know, real bad. Which, totally understandable. And I feel a little bad that I've decided on playing through the whole ending all at once. Not the whole ending, but playing through the whole... Basically sticking with the group, with the loyalty to Celestial Mechanics for this whole run. Because, I think that means we're going to get a possibly bad end. But, you know, it's fine. It's probably fine. Alright, so, we're at the Lagrange colony. Pluto's dream might collapse under its own weight or crush Saturn under it. So yeah. Got a mission with Pluto next. Let's see how it goes. The whole colony? It's so refreshing to see you're surprised for once, Saturn. I'm soaking it in. Ha ha ha, Mercury. But seriously, he wants me to stop Cradle's Graces from taking the entire colony out of the Lagrange point? Why? Why would they do that? Why would we care enough to stop them from trying? The colony should just rot. It's over. There's nothing left there. Cradle's Graces wants those memories to live again. We need to discard Earth completely and start something new. It's an anchor pulling us back home. The success of opening the gravity well on the moon will depend completely on how much is holding us down, even weak gravity like that. That's more than just stopping her, then. You want me to destroy the colony? That's the mission, yes. Not that I'm not the greatest, but isn't that basically impossible for me? It's huge. There are smaller moons. Do your best, then. The less memories, the better. I thought you didn't have any problems, that the colony should just rot. Ha! That's a funny joke. We both went through the same shit. Don't ask me that. Every happy memory is made retroactively disgusting by the sort of person Iapetus turned out to be. Oof. I hate him so much. I'll never get over how much. Saturn. Yes, Mercury? Then why are you still pretending to be with Celestial Mechanics? Why are you doing this is the real question, Mercury. You know him like I do, so why are you still here? I apparently have enough power to destroy a colony, and I can ditch him whenever I want. Leave Celestial Mechanics, take Ganymede... Oh, she's... okay. Leave Celestial Mechanics, take Ganymede. I'll protect you. I'll make sure there's a good future in the end. You absolutely will not be fine if I leave. Of course I don't trust him at all, but he wants what I want. It's what you want too. I can't trust him on anything else, but I can trust him on that. Even if he's just doing this for his own gain, with some other agenda in mind, he's truly going to give us this. Ugh, disgusting. That's what I fell for, so stop reminding me. That's why I trust you too, of course, even though I shouldn't. I know you won't accept anything less than you want. If you can get even half of that, it'll be more than enough for me. Huh. Battle in physical space for the future. Battle in narrative space for each other. Oof. Oof. Alright, well, I already made the decision. We're sticking loyal this whole run. Pluto hesitates because she's not ready for this kind of fight, and Saturn is. The colony shines like a star until you're right on it. Then it looms impossibly large, a translucent sphere, a drop of water suspended in space. Glistening beneath the drop of water, past the clouds that form in its crumbling artificial atmosphere, to the strange haze that seeps from beneath the crumbling streets, it's possible to make out the fading light of the colony's collapsing systems. A massive jewel, like a clean slice taken out of the earth and floated into space until its gravity formed it into the tiniest planet. Even a tiny world is still a world. Who can touch this? Move it even by an inch? Much less move the Earth by an inch. Pluto drifts slowly in orbit around the colony, waiting. Even you don't know what to do sometimes, huh? I'm kinda stumped too, if I'm being honest. But sorry, destroying it sounds way easier than whatever they're trying to make you do. The string of pearls skates along the outer edges of the colony's ice and atmosphere. She's having fun. She's playing. For just a moment, Pluto wonders what she's doing here. No, Saturn. I'm happy to see you, but I was hoping that I might be able to convince you to help me take it away. Oh yeah? What made you think that? For the same reason you thought you could convince me. 'Cause you like me? Or because you don't care for your side that much either? I care about all of us left here in space. It's amazing that you actually honestly do, but that's not what I asked, huh? There's a lot of ways to care about everyone up in space. Dragging a colony out of the Lagrange point yourself is one way to do it. There's another way to care about everyone up in space. You can show up by destroying this place, too. You're saying that would free us from the past. But it won't make those memories go away. We're making something out of them, so that time and pain won't be wasted. This is important to me, and I'll fight for real over it. Don't look at me like that. You'll make me sad. You really don't need to be the one to tell me, because I already know I'm doing something super dumb. I wonder, what do you want, and why do you think you can get it from me? It's just going to be a fight. Is that what you're after? The string of pearls presses its heel into the ice of the colony's atmosphere. Yes, even more so now. Didn't they teach you about the sunk cost fallacies in the academy? Memories should just stay memories. That's why you kind of make me mad sometimes. I've been having this feeling that you're going to do something way dumber and scarier than just fight me. Am I right? Because after I already said that there wasn't anything you could do, after you were shaking and afraid from just being close enough to see me, it looks like I can trust you to come right back, no matter how much I try to warn you. And trust you to come back twice as much. You're wasted on protecting this pointless ball of scrap. Whoever's ordering you around has no idea what they're doing. You're so right. But I'm still not going to let you through. You're wasted on Cradle's graces in general. And the rest of humanity, too. Don't try to push my buttons like that. I won't think it's cute. It's a lot of work to be a human. I'm not trying to be cute. I mean it. It's more for some humans than for others. You're not mad at the humans who got to be human for free? It's a privilege to be human. Have you forgotten why we're here? Because humans who wanted to be more human took the least human of us up here to see how much more human they could be. And now they want to throw you away after they learned everything they could from you. Don't you resent humanity? I do. What do you do when someone says you can't have something? Do you think you should work twice as hard until you earn it? I don't. I want to smash it until no one can have it. You know, you're just like Lunaterra. Ugh, please don't say that. You're merciless. It's in a good way. Not even then. Don't get me wrong, it just depresses me to see you wasted on all them. You should be having fun. You know, I wish I would come here just for that. Just to have fun. Good! Have fun with me. I know you want to show me mercy, lab rat to lab rat. Mutant bitch to mutant bitch. That's not what we need though, is it? I want to see the you that's having nothing but fun. I'm still getting used to this body, but I think I can still surprise you with it. And you'd like that, right? Cutting loose with no gravity to tie you down? I think about that every day. It's so tempting. You've got to be ginger with the universe, you know, Saturn. Now that you're this strong, you've got to be careful. So much can go wrong. I'll make sure to be very careful with the universe you love. You don't have to hold back with me, though. Aren't I the only person you can go tide to tide with, holding nothing back? That's a big promise. I don't want to come off as full of myself, but I don't want you to underestimate me either. Plastic girl to plastic girl, I wouldn't patronize you like that. It's tempting. But I wonder if you're really ready. You wouldn't mind getting your ship self broken and dragged back for the Cradle's Race's dream lab to do who knows what to. Why, is that supposed to sound bad? You really are. Oh, fine. I'm going to start easy, okay? They flirted enough, so neither is in the mood to lie. So no holding back, a lie to others about how strong you are, and no mercy, a lie to yourself about how strong someone else is. When Pluto opens her arms wide enough for her gravity to condense, pull, and tear through space, she's trusting Saturn can handle the pressure. She has faith Saturn will outdo her. Saturn meets Pluto's expectations, with just a little bit of convulsing and shuddering. Then she exceeds them by darting like a bullet, a little hot arrow of danger, and just as dangerous to the touch. Krunmakula is a big target, but Saturn isn't going to be lazy this time. This is the time to be precise, to throw everything in on the vector she's flying along, to not let Pluto's tidal forces budge her a millimeter. Which is good, because even then, she only barely grazes Pluto. Pluto's faster than you could ever imagine. The universe moves away, bending to not hit her, with tides that say, oh, coming into orbit is fine, but no touching. That you have to work for. That Saturn dared anyway is very bold of her. The burn on Krunmakula where Saturn's light passed over Pluto stings only a little, but it was close. So Pluto takes her seriously and grabs the string of pearls by the tail, flinging her into the colony's surface and dives after her. Oof. Saturn is basking in the bounty of attention. It requires all of Pluto's gravitational forces to keep her contained. The string of pearls makes her feel like goo, like a cartoon, like a liquid, and with it, she's as slippery and untouchable too. Others would shatter under the pressure. The string of pearls bulges and squishes. Pluto pulls and pushes, trying to force her into space that will sit still long enough she can deal with it. Saturn squeals in excitement until she can stop giggling long enough to push Pluto off with an electric burn. Pluto can't help but laugh too. It's funny how much nothing is working even though she's trying as hard as she can. That makes her want to work as hard as she can. Lab-grown girls know, vat-cultured girls know, carefully indoctrinated, carefully raised, special gifted girls. They all know. Heroes want to hold us, but we don't need them at all. Rather than bandages and kindness, the sting of pressing wounds together is the medicine we need. No boy who wants to heal your wound is worth the one who will tell you your wound is there. I can't believe it. Me neither. I really thought I'd actually be the one beating you. You didn't lie, though. You really could endure it. All of it. The colony is much worse for wear. Saturn shattered against it many, many times. Pluto broke across it a few times too. It's shaking in the Lagrange point. You won, even though you lost. I had a lot of fun. I wouldn't have been able to have it with anyone else. I'm glad I trusted you to not lose. Told you. Good girl. I should never have doubted one of us. Thank you, thank you. We did our best. Had the most fun we could have. When we get to the moon, don't forget. You could keep having fun just like this. If you let me show you the way. It's January 30th, 1981, and the day is almost here. The deadline to save everyone who came up to space with us, fought with us, tried to bring everyone up with us. If we shut down the lunar gravity well, there won't be any choice left. The power that keeps our ship cells in check will fall apart, and we won't have anywhere else to go but home. If we kill the dream, no one will die. We really, really hope that's true. No one should die in space. No one should die, period. No one has to die, because ship self-combat is shimmering missiles of light, cosmic explosions, electricity that sears through the soul. Blade sciences impossible for a human to produce. Dances of combat without end. Fight against ideas with toys. Humans could never show that sort of compassion to each other. Earth's answer is a single atomic particle fired at near light speed directly into the cockpit core. A true weapon from a military force. The quickest, most efficient, instantaneous, unavoidable way to kill a human. The most boring possible way to pointlessly die. No drama, no meaning, just nothing. Lunaterra, Memorial Foundation Ace Pilot. It's January 30th, 1981. In the end, they might get everything they want. In the way that no one wants. If we open up the lunar gravity well, then we can establish forever another Earth, and maybe another. We can inhabit the whole system, but that will cut humanity into two and more. The distance will be so much further. Everything we have will be even farther from them. How much are we going to lose? How much will we never be able to give them? The moon is very close to being part of Earth. It's full of life, and humans can live here now. It feels impossible, and I don't want to give it up. We should break it off forever, shouldn't we? All I want is to stitch these two humanities together, but if one of us dies as a result, I will fight forever to keep that precious thing alive. Pluto, Princess of Cradle's Graces. It's January 30th, 1981. They don't name it because naming it gives it power, but not naming it gives it more. It must be in every corner, behind every door, far, far away in the spaces between stars. It is defined and categorized in every human culture, and it is deliberately omitted from explicit naming conventions by Memorial Foundation in favor of a euphemism less captivating to the imagination, such as existential threat, rather than a specific word that would stimulate the imagination. But a trick like this will not work, and the euphemism is a hollow void that can hold all fears and all possibilities. Through gravity, humans decide what is real and what is not, but what is not does not stop existing, and it, like humans, can decide. It's the kiss of inverse, everything the humans can imagine but can't become. The shortcut to attaining it is to forsake everything that humans already are. If a bunch of idiots get tricked into going there, it would make a very convenient enemy for Earth. That's their real fear. Before that happens, I'll tell you a little secret. Ready? Saturn, Celestial Mechanics Test Pilot. Oh. Sounds like we're in the end game. Route installation complete. New OS in operation. Celestial Mechanics fleet collecting in the orbit of Earth's moon. Request for assistance received. Ignore. Awaiting manual input of mission parameters. Assist Cradle's graces and celestial mechanics with the opening of the gravity well and changing gravitational constants to make conflict with Earth possible. Mission created. Get in as much trouble as possible with a Memorial Foundation ace. Mission created. Calculating gravitational slingshot data from server hack. Ready for launch? Yes. Normalizing gravitational slingshot effect. Prepare for immediate launch to Earth's moon. 75%. Alright, let's take a look at what we got. Do you think about Neath still? That's out of nowhere. I think about them every day, obviously. They're the reason celestial mechanics exists. First to understand what happened to them, and then because we couldn't stop thinking about it. About how to make what happened to them happen to us. We still don't know what it was exactly. They had us all get together to reach through space and time and contact the existential threat wherever it came from. To make sure that it truly had been defeated for good. I think they were really hoping it wasn't. We felt the same, especially us who never got to fight yet. We reached together as far as we could. And Neath reached farther than anyone. I didn't think it would have been them before anyone else. But I didn't know them. Was it that they reached too far? Or what? Or something reached to them? What's the difference? In the end, they got it. Whatever it was. Are you having second thoughts? Maybe. They were the only one. I always wondered why that was. Were they special? In a good way or a bad way? Were they chosen? What would be the criteria? We know it's none of that, though. Just a lonely, unchosen child. Without so little presence in this world, they fell into another one. That's how it is. The only trick is how to do it on purpose. And that's just it. Are we too attached? I want to be something new and share it with everyone. Am I too heavy for the apple? It's a thin line between falling into inverse because you have hope, and because you don't have any left. We should be glad it's not so easy, you know. Oof. Alright, what we got in the mail? Subject, Why Children? The Memorial Foundation Space Program Documentation, author Director Nix. They aren't children anymore, but when they were pilots, they were, for all the obvious reasons that children are more suited to be pilots than adults. Since the decline of the space program, there have been fewer and fewer waves of new recruits, and the current pilot generations have no successors. Adults are serving as pilots because there are no longer any children in space, and adults should not have to serve as pilots. It would be cruel to send children to fight a war so that adults don't have to, especially as adults have far more powerful tidal forces than children. In their physical and metaphorical manifestation, tides are the measurement of the authority that culture has over the universe, the light of the soul that turns all impossible things into our dominion. The gravitational forces of children are weak enough to perceive and engage the existential threat without obliterating it instantly, and as a cancer that exerts a subtle influence in the back of our unknowing minds, they are suited to protect us from it. For this reason, Memorial Foundation is pushed against traditional cultural institutions for engaging existential threats with this more humane practice, due to the resiliency of children and detrimental long-term effects contact with existential threats has on adults in the vast majority of cases. In some exceptional circumstances, contamination lingers in children. The gravitational forces never achieve sufficient power to extinguish the existential threat without resistance. Without the tidal force to challenge other adults, they remain in limbo, unsuited to anything else. The remaining small percentage of the original pilot program that continues to reside in space is made of such cases. Oof. Oh man. Diving right into the whole issue with mecha anime and how, why is it that every time you have a main character who's piloting a mecha, they have to be a kid? Oof. Subject: New Eversion Proposal. Memorial Foundation Central Classified Extract. Memorial Foundation Celestial Mechanics. Thank you. I'm no different from my former colleagues. I think we all want the same thing, ultimately. Every one of us. I'd implore you to be forgiving of them, though not of their methods. Many of us are thankful for the ending of the Cold War, the paranoia and suspicion that accompanied the strength of the existential threat in this world, as it fed on the trauma and malaise and discontent of the world after the war. But I think some of us must have some reservation about the future. In abandoning existential threats to address the threats of our home, it will inevitably result in us turning to conflict between humans once more, and in turn, the existential threat will thrive. We are looking for the smoothest, most uncontested future. I won't lie, this will not ensure happiness for everyone. In fact, it may be difficult to understate how much it will ensure the opposite for what we will ensure are very few. But what I'm proposing will ensure the maximum happiness for the maximum number of people. And what else can we do? This entire thing is a lot. Okay. Plastic versus metal. Earth has promised to let the children of space sort themselves out for now, but their machines of war guard the way back home just in case. When Saturn and Luna Terra meet in a chance encounter, the true terror of humanity stares them down. And the acceleration due to gravity. Celestial Mechanics and Cradle's Graces have one thing in common, and that's escaping Earth's gravity. To do that, they need Saturn and Pluto to work together to corrupt the lunar gravity well. It's an opportunity for one to get the upper hand over the other, but they're not thinking about it politically. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna go with that one first. How's the new equipment fitting? It's not that much weirder than how it was before. This mission really is a weird one, Mercury. This was always the plan, you know that. The lunar gravity well is the anchor that all tidal reactors resonate with. It's how ship cells maintain their form, how colonies on other planets and orbital bases and ships maintain environments humans can survive in. Gravity in both the literal and figurative senses is required for us to live in space, and without it, we dissolve into the universe and become everything that humans aren't. There's a lot of that in the universe, if you've noticed. If you want to turn into something interesting and specific, we have to make sure that we're controlling the aversion process. Is it going to work? Probably not. I wouldn't trust Iapetus to do this right. There's nothing in it for him, so why would he care? When he lived on Earth, he had everything he wanted. He isn't like anyone else who came to space. He's just flirting with the idea of transcending human limits for boring reasons, and only for his. There are no places left on Earth to conquer, so he wants to be the first to own the future. If this actually works, I don't want to share it with him. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I told you I was playing this how I wanted, right? I'm not letting him have this. Saturn tempts Pluto to fall in with her, favors celestial mechanics, or Pluto tempts Saturn to entertain a silly dream. On the lunar South Pole, the moon's first city glitters mundanely, so ordinary, it's hard to believe it's not just another site on Earth. The Lagrange colony was destroyed, the Ares colony was stillborn, but Earth's satellite is almost as much Earth as Earth is. So we have the authority to name Earth's satellite the Moon, part of our body, the native sphere, and not foreign, unknown Luna. Even if the space program is ended, the Moon will remain part of Earth, as it once was, before a cosmic event tore it from Earth. Reclaiming the Moon was a historically and existentially important event for all of us. Except for this impossible tower on an impossible mountain and a point of eternal light, which is not so earthy yet. The gravity well is suspended directly above the tower's point, resonating with Earth to keep every wayward human in space grounded. The moon has been taught almost all of the Earth's gravity, but not quite. There's still some possibility left. You're quiet. Are you up to something?
What makes you say that?
The tilde, but also everything else. I love that Pluto is just so meta. Ugh.
Hey, I'm being very sneaky here.
A string of pearls and Kun Makula circle around the small, glimmering void of the gravity well. For all the good it might do, Celestial Mechanics and Cradle's Grace's capital ships are standing by. Just not too close. Who knows what could happen? I should be suspicious, shouldn't I? I think you must have some sort of evil plan.
Of course. You should always be suspicious. I'm shifty. I'm here to get the upper hand.
Good. That's why I'm here too. Still, I don't mind if it's your evil plan that finally succeeds, as long as it's yours.
You're trying to fluster me. Try harder. I mean, it is working. I just want to get flustered more.
Mood. You're in a really good mood. So I'm extra worried. More worried to be working with you than all the times fighting you. Not in a bad way, though. The gravity well is a massive engine, and it is very stable. To destabilize it is very dangerous to everyone and everything, which is why they're opening it. The escorting operational platforms from Cradle's Graces and Celestial Mechanics tonelessly coordinate with each other to instruct Saturn and Pluto on preparations, like exes that are forced to attend an events for their children together, because that's what they are.
Now you're the one who's quiet. I was in a good mood. Did I tease you too much?
No. I was just remembering something. Do you remember this too? We did something like this before, a long time ago.
We did? Together? I only saw you a little bit back on campus. It was a kind of weird time. You seemed really far away then. More so than now, and we weren't there that long. For the third generation, they wanted to kickstart the process, you know? Not a whole childhood of care and attention, but condensed, chemically assisted, cybernetically enhanced growth. They wanted us to go from nothing to perfect. I guess by that standard, we didn't fall as short as we could have. Unfolding dimensional cords. Begin torque acceleration.
They were hard times. You know I was really bad at first, right? Not just terrible at all the classes, all of the tests, all of the work, but I wasn't obedient or likable either. I was super annoying. It still feels like that's me most of the time.
That can't be true.
Of course it's true. I wouldn't have tried so hard if I hadn't been like that at first. When I first got here, I knew I was lucky, and should have been so much happier than I was on Earth. But everything felt wrong. It took a long time for those memories to turn happy. Containing stray particles, establishing nets.
It was the opposite for me. At first, I loved being a science experiment, but I guess it would have been different for you. I didn't think about that. But you made it sound like we met each other before. Enabling physical canceller. Limit off.
I'm good at remembering people. There's not that many of us, so it's not that hard, but I remember you. You looked like you started out perfect. You know, I was a little jealous of you. I'm not surprised you don't remember the one thing we did together. Everyone was there, and we were just thinking about what happened and not anything else.
Oh, you're talking about... yeah, that. We were all there, so of course you were there. I didn't think about that either.
Nyx, Iapetus, and Europa all wanted the space program to justify its existence. Earth didn't agree. The alien threat that we defeated with such ease wasn't even worth it. Just a shadow created by waves of humanity in space. A color and a light that fought us and never came into focus. So they had us all come together over the gravity well, just like this,
to see if we could pull whatever they were more fully into our universe. And then it went so wrong.
That was when the space program really ended, wasn't it?
We never should have done it. It was risky, and no one knew what they were doing, and everyone was desperate.
I don't know. Maybe Neith doesn't feel the same way.
A tiny point of glimmering darkness in the gravity well sometimes shines in such a way that for a moment it seems like there's something inside it. I hope that's true. I want to believe it. I can't blame them for what happened, though, either way.
Really, though? What do you mean, can't blame them? I mean, they were the one who gave in, right? When most people talk about what Neith did or what happened when they turned inside out in the light of the gravity well, it was as if it was a horrible accident. Not something they did on purpose. Why do you talk about it like it was?
I just had this feeling. I didn't really know Neith at all. No, maybe I should just be honest. For a second, I was thinking the same thing.
What if I jump in? I thought the same thing. We could have been like them. During the testing, when we saw the gravity well opening before us, we could have jumped in too if we wanted to.
It was scary.
It was. But a lot of us looked at that, and after we thought, us too. And that was how Celestial Mechanics was born. That's the truth, whatever Iapetus really wants aside. We have our own ideas.
That's amazing. I couldn't be so brave. When Earth looked at what emerged, they were filled with despair. So that's how I decided to feel too. After all, it was proof that the existential threat was the same thing it's always been. The same thing we've been fighting as long as humans have been humans. The shadow of possibility cast by us. The not quite there aliens we had fought for so long were just caused by our ripples in space-time. We only had ourselves to lose, and nothing to gain by fighting them. Where Neith went and what they became, only Venus knows.
Venus? What did you really feel in that moment, before you told yourself otherwise?
Venus, I wonder, is there a connection? You know, beyond both having similar queer themes and characters from Sailor Moon ripped out and put into different settings. Is there a connection between Heaven Will Be Mine and We Know the Devil?
Interesting. I'll tell you how I felt. I felt smug. I mean, I did everything right, and that loser messed it up. When I learned it was the end of the program, I was mad. But when they demoted me from piloting anyway, I realized I was the fool. It was an important lesson on not being a good girl.
Stabilizing reaction. Synchronicity perfect. Hold until stable. I feel like I know you a little better now, Saturn.
Me too, in a new kind of way. Now you, what did you really feel?
The gravity well opens. The reactor is turned inside out, from shining white to infinite black, drawing in all that is and emitting all that isn't, yet. But with gravity itself, the weight we have in the universe, that alone is all we need to touch. Oh, there you are.
I knew we'd only get a moment to touch. Do you maybe think sometimes of falling in? Even you? You must have thought about it. Core resonance in perfect conditions, ready for full release.
Gravity well unbound. All stability checks nominal. Here it comes. Back then, I almost did jump in. I thought about it before it was happening. What they said, when they said you must not, under any circumstances. It would make anything I couldn't do possible if I left everything I had behind. It's an awful paradox of a deal, but I wanted to do it so much, I would have if Neith hadn't wanted it 1 second more. I've never told anyone that. You're really good at seducing people, Saturn. If I gave you the chance to fall in again, would you? Would you fall in with me? Oh, just you wait and see. The gravity well shines. It is collapsing into a star. Everything is starting. The opening was peaceful, perfect, no problems. Yet there is a feeling like the fluttering of wings deep down. Oof. Oh! I think that... Did that... No, we've still got the other one left to do. Okay, I was worried for a moment that meant we, progressed. For some reason, I thought these things were happening on the same days, and then... I don't know. Anywho. Everything is ready for you. I wish you would let me help you more. You'll be fine back home. Without a ship. I envy you a little bit. Piloting is for girls and jocks. It's not my thing. But I wish I was coming with you. Sometimes. A very, very tiny bit. Mercury. We are very different. But I love you. We're parts of the same thing. We wanted the same things. And I'll walk alongside you until we get them. Really? You're not leaving, possibly forever? If I'm leaving, you're coming with me. If I stay, I'll bring you home. You know you can't rely on me for anything, but you can count on me for this. I promise. I promise. You promise, with correct punctuation and capitalization. So you know it's real. What else can I do to pay you back? Nothing. I count on you for a lot, Saturn. The same way you count on me. Aww. Hey, more on the why children. By the end of the space program, with recruitment having stopped almost a decade... Wait. Is this... No, it's not the same. Okay. With recruitment having stopped almost a decade before the official decommissioning of the space program, all the pilots had become adults. Yet they were recruited as children, and spent the fiercest years of fighting against the existential threat as children. Much like criticisms levied at the scout programs on Earth, it was a motion that Memorial Foundation considered heavily in deciding how to recruit their pilots. Children have no special piloting qualities, with much weaker tidal authority than adults, who of course have the tidal authority to engage other adults. Adults would be stronger, more powerfully able to use ship cells, much more so, the beloved and chosen adults rather than the discarded and flawed children that were chosen. On Earth, adults with much, much stronger tidal forces than children will destroy the existential threat before even comprehending it, and because of this, those threats are able to hide in the world and prey on those who are more weak, such as children, or those who are unchosen even as adults. Those who are strong enough should struggle with other humans, and those who are weaker protect the rest from the trivial threats outside humanity. Sustained contact with the existential threat often exacerbates this effect, and there is a cold, twofold reason for delegating who will and who will not confront existential threats. Children, and the unchosen, bear the burden so adults will not be worn away. Wow, that's pretty fucked up. Alright, let's go hang out with Lunaterra. Spinning up tidal reactor. Frequency double checks. First turn. 100%.
Frequency double checks. Second turn.
Stop and spin them again.
From 0? Again? Where were they at?
99.99999, but it doesn't matter. They should be at 100, so we're spinning them again.
Mercury, if I go out and die, it's not going to be because we didn't quintuple check every reactor pulse.
Saturn, this time please, could you listen for once? No matter how useless I know that telling you this is, I know I say this over and over, but can you listen, seriously? Tell me you're going to not be risky this time. It's not a game anymore. This mission is different. It's not ship self to ship self. Those troops are real weapons from Earth, designed for threats that are real, not existential. They are perfectly capable of killing. They're designed for no other purpose. That's not going to even be an issue, though, because your orders are strictly to observe and not get remotely close enough to engage. They won't leave stationary orbit around the near side of the moon. They're Earth's insurance plan, and we can ignore them as soon as we make sure that's all they're doing. Don't joke about dying. That can happen. It won't if everything is perfect and you do exactly what you're supposed to. It finally matters this time, and you...
Mercury, please. I'm actually really sorry, Mercury. I didn't mean to make you worry. I didn't mean to make you really worry, for real. I promise I'm not trying to die, okay? I promise, okay? Making poor choices about who to kiss and what to do isn't the same thing. I listen to you when it's for real, okay? I wouldn't cross the line. You're my friend. No one else. No one else is worth you. You're the most important. We've been through too much. I wouldn't ever go back or throw everything we've got away. You know that, right? Sorry I'm acting like I forgot. Mercury, hey, say something.
You idiot. Give me a minute. Damn it, I was going to act like I tricked you. I was going to get to feel smug, making you think everything was serious, and I was going to lord it over you. But now I'm crying, asshole.
Sorry about me, but I love you too. Don't worry. Aw.
Oh. So the betray option is hide together in the peaceful moon's winter night. Loyal, risk dying, tearing that machine to pieces. Oof. Oh boy. That's possibly bad. But it's what we're gonna do.
Well, it seems almost like it can't be a coincidence bumping into you again. Fancy seeing you here.
Unlikely story. Please stay down. It's closing in. That thing wants to murder us very badly. It wants to kill.
Yep. Aren't you itching to fight it?
The autonomous military unit is waiting for opportunities, it seems, but it's really just reacting to conditions and responding with protocol. It's inevitability, gravity, law. Humans can be pretty unambiguous, which is why if you want something done precisely, you must teach it only a sliver of what humans know. If you want someone dead without complication, you need to remove nuance first. It doesn't have any kind of morality system or decision-making process. It's very non-discriminatory. Just gravity and nothing else. It's a gun and not much else. So maybe you should stop harassing it so much.
It's annoying, though. I want to bully it. I promised that I wouldn't tangle with something if it was really life or death. But now that I'm here, I'm too tempted. I just absolutely want to tear it to pieces. Completely destroy like it wants to destroy me. You ever feel like that? Even when you're terrified?
Especially then. But it's not worth fighting. Not at all. Even a little. It's like fighting gravity or a whole planet. What can you call winning against something like that? There are a million more. You can't have a real argument with something like that. They sent autonomous troops because they didn't want to have one in the first place. Just goes to show they really don't care what happens to space or anyone in it. Or they do, and they want this badly to believe they don't.
You're going to hate this, but That makes me wish I could crush them even more. Sorry. There has to be a way, right?
Oh.
Unlike a ship's self, the autonomous military unit doesn't have a shape that remotely resembles a person. There's no need for that, obviously. It would give something a human shape only if you wanted it to be able to express the fullness of being human. War has never been fought like that. Military technology is designed to narrow available resources in order to efficiently execute a single specific function. Giant robots have never been practical for war. What is necessary is a single vector pointed in a certain inflexible fixed direction. The autonomous military unit may not look human, but it is human. A single, uncomplicated human thought. Die. I am worried that telling you this will just encourage you, so I shouldn't. It feels like a bad idea. But they're not invincible or almighty against us, even if they're incredibly, overwhelmingly powerful. Especially here in the liminal zones of the moon, but not ever. Not anywhere.
It's nice to hear even you get mad about it. I understand the math. We're risking our lives and our personhood, and they're not. It's very one-sided. Humans are cowards. And that makes me want to fight even more.
I'm saying it's not worth it. The statement will be lost on Earth. They've got an endless number of drones.
But you can destroy them, right? I'm not asking if there's a point. I don't care about that. I'm asking if we can. Let me know how you did it. Right? Because you have.
You really don't know, Saturn. You just don't. And you never will. You can wish and fight, but Earth will never let us go. 9.8 meters per second squared is what we are bound to. Your weight and mine are nothing compared to that speed. We can't even scratch the surface. But you are right. It was stupid, but when I was with Cradle's Graces, I destroyed one. Pluto made me promise to never risk my life over something like that again.
That's a huge brag, but given all that, kind of a crazy thing to do. Why? Not that I think it doesn't rule.
I was feeling the same way you were feeling. Pure spite. I'm not quite as bad anymore. At least I'm trying not to be.
I know that feeling. It's easy to bet your life when you don't care whether you lose it or not. If we fight together, we'll be betting on each other.
It doubles the risk, and there's still no points.
Is there really no point to it, though? Useless, okay, that's true, but not pointless. You're so clever, Nunaterra, but you have outsmarted yourself, and now you're believing there is no meaning in fighting against that blind and unstoppable force. I definitely know what battles I want to fight.
The senseless eye of the autonomous weapon fixates on their location, but the string of pearls doesn't give it time to get inquisitive. Saturn's closing the distance, cheating distances. It reflexively attempts to close distance too, but its calculations seem to be constantly just off. Saturn, come back! What did I say?
Were you listening to yourself? Aren't we doing this? Are you gonna prove my point or what? It's no big deal for you, right? You've done it before, right? It'll be twice as easy now. So don't make me fight it alone. That'll be fucked up. It'll be heroic if it's the two of us, so come on, enable me.
Oh, Saturn.
Don't you want to not end up like you? Don't you want me to not end up like you? Don't you want to not end up like you?
The autonomous military unit is extremely simple. It fires a simple burst of metal directly in the cockpit, particle unaffected by gravity, instantly lethal. It takes all the drama and expression out of fighting, the ultimate anticlimax. That's why true combat is ugly, arbitrary, horrifying, a struggle for power in absolute terms, not a romance, like fighting in a perfect body can be. It's only because you did something so stupid that I'm joining you. A blue, elusive streak, unmistakable but impossible to pin down, follows Saturn.
Liar! Fake! Hypocrite! You've never smiled as much before as you are right now. Against even a single autonomous unit, not dying starts out hard and keeps getting harder. Saturn can cheat the distance. It's the reason she isn't instantly dead. Their targeting is flawless and predictive, based on clear indentations made in space/time/culture by gravity. But Saturn just cheats. Every time she changes the math, and every time it adjusts to correct and keeps getting smarter and harder. Still, Saturn does the math better than it can. Luna Terra will die if she thinks to herself about what's happening for even a single second. So she doesn't. She verbs instead. Do this, do that, make it real, make it happen. Don't think or blink. Simply, impossibly, always be doing, always be being. Don't get hit and never die. Nothing like life or death to remind you that being alive is great, and in that state, you can become infinitely capable of fighting tooth and nail no matter what. When Maricrisium's hard light slugs hit the unit's chassis, it miscalculates, dips in motion, but it's undeterred. It can endure much more than that. Luna Terra respects that, and fires 12 dozen more, as point blank as possible. No time for mercy, so increase the output, more than should be possible. Defensive insulation keeps it protected from the String of Pearl's electrotoxins. All the String of Pearls can leave is a series of bleeding, oozing, hot pink pinpricks. Nothing but scratches, until there are so many of them they aren't just scratches anymore. There's no limit to how mean she can get.
It's something else fighting like this. I wasn't ready.
You're doing amazing. You're unreal. You have to be, otherwise you're dead. So don't let up, don't stop, keep going. It's the only way. Every approach and hit counts. You've got to be perfect. The autonomous military unit is fast, faster than either of them, but isn't faster than coincidence. It's not fast enough to predict someone who's not even thinking, and it's not faster than cheating. Saturn works her whole hand into its guts and comes out with a fistful. It has dozens of redundant components designed to withstand unreal trauma and continue fighting. There's a slight delay as the failsafe switch circuits. That moment is time enough for Luna Terra to plunge her iridescent blade into flailing sensors that burn into white light. Even torn in half, ripped apart both ways, apart by a division of light and dark, undone, the autonomous unit still moves. The only way they will be win is to be completely thorough. Pull the guts out every which way, never show mercy, and never let go, until they've bathed in it head to toe. At the end, they don't even realize when the moment came that they were still alive, that they had won. Are you finally satisfied? God, it was worse than I remembered. No idea how I did it alone.
I feel incredible, beyond satisfied. If I didn't feel almost dead, I'd be begging you to do that all over again.
I knew it'd just encourage you. Shows the good it did.
You know, Luna Terra, I'm fighting. No matter what. No matter who wins. I know the best I can hope for is half of what I want. But I'm not here for a realistic outcome, even if that's all we get. I'm just going to fight, forever, with perfect greed, until I get everything.
I don't know if I can be that cool. But when it comes down to it, I won't stop either.
Oof.
Iapetus. Well then, I'm quite impressed.
You don't even sound surprised. With how much I fucked everything up. I thought I'd get to see you surprised for once. If you had this much faith in me, you shouldn't have got so mad.
I wouldn't be respecting you very much if I wasn't prepared with contingency plans. But I'm delighted to not need them.
I thought so. I used to think you knew everything.
Oh, good to see your understanding of the fallibility of your superiors.
Now I understand it's because you just don't have any experience not getting what you want. And you always are sure deep down it'll turn out for you.
You wound me. I'm no stranger to getting what I want. The world would be a very different place if I did.
No, Iapetus. Not even close. You've never even come close to not getting what you want like I have.
Forgive me then. If you put it like that, I'm certainly much closer than you. But that's the reason for this arrangement, of course. You will all get the bodies you wanted so much.
And Earth will have the villain it desires.
Ah, so you are that clever. What of it? It's still a mutually beneficial scenario. You and humanity will be so different from each other that you could not possibly understand or communicate with each other. Both sides can fight each other with abandon until the end of time, never hurt those they love. You will have yours, we will have ours. If you have the will to abandon your own humanity, then abandoning the rest of the human race, who never cared for you in the slightest, should be trivial.
You don't know how relieved that makes me to hear. You really don't understand. Whether it's spite or love, no way I'm not sharing this gift.
The fleets crash, ship self against ship self. In the shadow of the gravity well, none of it is visible from Earth. A quiet conflict, not a war as has been stressed. It's more like a very pointed argument. It could be a conversation, if only they understood each other, and sometimes they do. It could be kissing if they loved each other, and sometimes they do. With the gravity well open, unrestrained, they fight weightlessly under the full weight of their own gravity alone. A truer way to fight than anyone has experienced before. To fight with one's own self and the full weight of one's gravity and the hollow weight of inverse is the only time this will be possible. Our true power unrestrained. Celestial mechanics simply takes advantage when no one else is looking. Celestial mechanics made no plans to win. After all, there's no way to win in this sort of conflict. The winner only has to prove a point. The way that Celestial mechanics accomplishes this is simple. True to themselves, without the weight of gravity tying them to Earth, tying them to orbit, holding them in their human forms, what happens next is the natural result, and that's what proves their points. It isn't immediately clear anything is wrong. It happens naturally as a consequence of truly unrestrained conflict, each one climbing to the top, seeing how far their limits are, and realizing, suddenly, there aren't any. When the first pilot sends her reactor's limits past the theoretically possible range, her reactor everts, and what only existed deep inside is now the face she wears. A perfect, unbelievably true self, so true that it cannot exist even in orbit. Until she's joined by another, and another. In unison, their gravity holds them together. Good job, Saturn. It's exactly how I imagined. Not having second thoughts, are you? It's everything you wanted. And it will be good for Earth as well. Your infection of the gravity well was perfect. And you will successfully fuse with your ship self, just like you wanted. It's for our happiness too, of course. Humans will get to live as humans, aliens as aliens. As enemies mutually agreed upon with no possibility of communication or reconciliation. And no conflict or guilt on our own sides. Humanity shouldn't externalize all of their problems, but I think we can still manage progression with most of them. And with your hands already sunk into the gravity well, I should tell you it's technically too late. Things will take care of themselves from here. And thanks to your actions, I've had more than enough time to prepare for re-entry.
I knew it would be that easy for you to ditch us.
Not so. I still find you all so fascinating. Leading such beautiful lives. I have regrets, of course, but I have a real world to get back to.
I'm not having regrets either. I'm only mad about how much you're underestimating me. Because you think I'm satisfied only getting what I want, and not greedy enough for more.
Saturn breaks open her circuits, and the aversion starts immediately. She can feel the gravity well pulling her inside out. The secret within humans to be pulled to the fore. She needs it, but not just yet. I wonder what it is you think you can do at this point. You've already conceded. Unless you're hoping for some reconciliation between humanity and the alien. That is by definition impossible.
It must not be too impossible, or you wouldn't be training all your weapons on me.
Well, I am impressed, because I finally have no idea what it is you are doing. But
just because I don't understand doesn't mean I'm not going to prevent it. You have no understanding of what the violence of actual combat is like under Earth's authority. Yep, it is Roncivo? Yapidus's Roncivo Terra is equipped with certain abilities that allow it to divide and categorize. It's an abstract ability with a lot of applications, sophisticated and sinister, and the warrant of Earth itself behind it. So Lunaterra figures the best solution is just to shoot him. A lot. Oh, Lunaterra. It's honestly a very good solution. Yapidus buckles, and whatever thing he thought he was doing, he isn't. Easy.
And that's because the hard part is coming next.
Promise?
You say that now. But thanks for going along, even though I didn't tell you anything.
I know how to make the best of a bad ending.
Oh, thanks, game. Hey, it's not anything worse than whatever you had planned, probably. So help me make it the best bad end we can find.
Pay attention, or die. The intent is lethal and simple, but the weight is not heavy enough to kill. A string of pearls tears a hot pink scar through space-time. His bullets can go there.
If you can come close enough to talk to me, you can come close enough to kill me. But I don't want either. I want to never see or know you throughout space and time.
Indeed. So complete the transition. If you remain human, you'll die. I can ensure it. The autonomous military units come to his aid, but their sensors are off. Their movements are slow. Human gravity is losing its authority here, and their tools are useless.
I could seriously, really use a little bit of help here.
Well, if you're actually asking... Pluto unfolds the rhythm. She decodes the sequence. Plates shift, engines hum. Her eyes open. So she opens up her eye, her other biggest eye, big enough to swallow it whole, and then she blinks and swallows. She's got hungry eyes. Pluto's hands hold Saturn's tightly. I thought you promised me no bad endings.
That's what I'm trying.
It might really be working. This already feels too good. I really know what you mean now. Do you have an answer?
I'm sort of counting on you for it.
You think I know how to find the good future in all this?
Well, you're a good person. I need you to be the one not just thinking about... I need you to be the one not just thinking just about us, but the humans left behind, too.
You think you wouldn't? I think you think too much of me, and too little of yourself. Yapidus has an answer. This story ends when the weapon that is designed without exception to kill does so, and forces a choice between one of two sides, human or alien, two distinct and incompatible worlds. The mathematical model needs to be perfect. It needs to allow for exchanges of matter, light, information without allowing for understanding of communication. This is an extremely easy calculation to create. It's the oldest narrative there is. It's the one that Earth has told again and again and again. Yapidus has an extensive library to draw from, starting from the first moment humans separated light from dark. There is a way, and fuck off with this, we don't want it.
Saturn throws that narration out. Why should it work like that? Why not make up something different? Who says physics work this way? Who says the calculations turn out that way? Yapidus wants us to take the fall. For everyone. For the Earth. For us to scapegoat each other. I hate that. If our cores collapse, a world where anything is possible arises, and at the same time we will have closed off all the possibilities that make us human. The existential threat we always feared and hoped to unite us will be real, and they will finally have a real war. I want all of that, but I just want to add a little tiny bit extra to it. Yapidus wants to reduce the only information that will be possible to exchange between us to violence.
But you want for something different to be exchanged. So that we can't hurt each other, that we can... something else with each other? You'll have to be very small and very imprecise. At least it'll be something different, you know?
There's no chance of going back to being human.
Not zero chance, although we won't even remember what being human is, so it's pretty low, I guess.
That's good enough for me. Let's hope it's good enough for us all. There's no limit to how big we can get. Size is a funny dream. It's relative and doesn't have to matter anymore. It can be set like any other variable. As the gravity well draws matter towards it, and even light, it emits a knot energy, a knot light, that can perfectly make up a body just as well as all that. Big enough to be equal to the Earth, big and close enough to compete with the Moon, to anchor in space and time equal division between us, to be a new and separate world. The autonomous units are single vectors, prepared for human violence, and we can't be cheated like that anymore. Only sad humans can have their gravitational impression in the universe terminated by the extinguishing of their bodies. They'll have to fight us on our terms if they want to get rid of us now, the way humans should fight, with no fear of ending. The consequences will be unimaginable. We aren't going to have selves or consciousness like we're used to having, and that's what it means to give up humanity. We won't know who we are, and we might not understand or grasp each other anymore.
That's true.
You might not know how true that is, it's so true. The final mystery of what is human and what is alien, ever shifting, all for ground reclaimed by humans lost to them. Humans have a lot. We'd only be able to imagine what it was like to be them.
Hey, it's not all bad, though. Don't overestimate the human race. Do the math. If we lose how humans love each other, do you think there's ways to love each other other that humans don't know yet? Do they really know every way there is to touch and know each other? Or is there still much more to learn, too? Maybe we're only scratching the surface. There are many, many routes. We won't understand each other in the same ways, but we'll understand each other in ways we never could. And we will now write a new story, with our gravity, a new world. As we leave the level existence he insists on engaging us at, our tides push back, and Earth's tides, which no longer bind us, insist on him. What are you doing, hypocrite? You want to fight in the realm of heaven? Your place is on Earth. That's only to wonder at now. The story's ending twists. We are far away, another space and time. Watch us in the sky, but never touch. Until you find your answer on Earth, you'll never touch heaven. You know, no matter how bad you are at being human, there's no other way to be. It's really disappointing, but it's simply true. We just can't think in any other terms. You can say you want to not be human, but can you actually make it happen? Forget even how to logistically, technically, philosophically make it happen. How do you blueprint it in the first place? Every time we try to imagine an alien, in the end it's just ourselves from a different angle, because all we have are human things. So the ambition to assemble them in an order that's alien to us is kind of inherently doomed. But that doesn't mean it's useless. Imagining that which is human, that humans are not. When I say I don't want to be human, what I really mean is, I can't stand being human like this. Emphasis on the like this. What I want instead is to be human like that. That was the beginning of the space dream. Everyone in the Memorial Foundation felt that way when they sent us here. And everyone on Earth who believed in us felt the same way. Let's be more human. How much more human can we be? That faith waned, maybe because they were jealous. Yet, maybe also because the direction we were taking in the future wasn't enough. Just another human that they didn't want to be. Or a sort of human that they're scared of being. I don't owe them anything, but there's one more thing I can't stand. Not being seen for what I am. So, choose to come with us, or choose to stay. But I won't be happy without them knowing what they're missing out on. Look up in the sky and see all the weird stuff we get to do with each other. And come join. Reactor collapse. Eversion event. The impulse, always deep and always lurking to turn inside out, Everything has reversed. Nothing is the same. Giving up everything that isn't real for everything that is. So now they can't touch each other, can't lie in bed with each other, can't get legs entangled with each other. Instead, they have ways of physically interfacing that aren't like anything we could imagine. Clouds of particles drift into each other. Maybe they touch through each other instead of just on the surface. It can be in a cold and gentle way, like through a ghost, or maybe a warm and gross way, like reaching into guts. Smiles communicated in physical lights, an embrace of psychedelic mind matter. Lazy sex in a morning bed, except the bed is curvature of space-time, and sex is something so obscene it would make your mind implode to consider it. Amazing. The ship's self fused to the hide, the gravity reactor to the flesh, because humans have sciences to distinguish the differences between those things, and these new aliens don't. They won't have arts or sciences, they won't know what the differences are, and they won't know what they mean, but they will understand the difference between many other kinds of things that we do not understand. A real hero would have turned out differently, but that's not who we are. Our ships have mouths now, and they open, and they can scream. There can be sound in space. Now our vibrations can touch the things that aren't there. Humans know it's time to flee. The threat from within is now without, as they desired. The moon is no longer hospitable, as alien and mysterious as it was long before it was possible to reach it. Can't speak or write. Has other ways of communicating information. Can't use the old senses. Has new organs for it now. Can't love in the old ways. There are new ways of having that too. Laying together in the stars, we can do that, though. The metaphor translates. That's what this is, indisputably. And everyone is invited who wants to become a world and never touch Earth. That's a different world now. Their strange intimacy can touch us even now, longing to teach us and tell us what they've learned, what they share laughing without laughing with each other even now. They're so far away they cannot even be our enemies, but they will break our hearts. It's a lovely night tonight, perfect not for stargazing, because the light of the trinary system outshines them by far. But it's a perfect night to watch the three of them. Look, there's Lunaterra, the 2-in-1, rising almost full. She almost outshines the moon, a bridge between the Earth and the moon no one can cross. The nebula cloud of Pluto is a shimmering, benevolent mystery, swallowing an eighth of the sky in a permanent sort of twilight. And the glittering twinkle of Saturn that tricks the edge of your sight this way and that, always seeming to be in the corner of your eye but hard to see directly, making the boundaries of your heart and mind ever so thin. We lay out our blankets and watch until someone catches us, and we run, but it's all fun and games. Until that day comes, they're waiting for us always. They just need 1 or 3 to reach out to them again, even if it's just to fight, to touch them once again. Whew. Oh my goodness. That was a heck of an ending. Like, am I wrong? Are there not multiple endings and they're all just like plays on that one? But that doesn't really make sense. So I don't think it would be that. Oh, man. Well, I think that's enough for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure to come back next time when I guess we'll start a new playthrough with a different character. Oh my goodness. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, all the other usual YouTube garbage, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!